The wrestling world just experienced one of those rare moments that send shockwaves through every arena and living room where fans gather to witness the spectacle of sports entertainment. Seth Rollins, the architect, the visionary, the man who has carried the World Heavyweight Championship with pride and determination, has done the unthinkable. He walked into Smackdown and relinquished his title, leaving millions of fans around the globe in absolute disbelief. If you love wrestling and want to stay updated on everything happening in this wild world, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now because you won't want to miss a single moment of what's coming next. Nobody saw this coming. When Seth Rollins made his way to the ring on SmackDown, the energy in the arena was electric as always, but there was something different in his eyes. The champion who had defended his title through blood, sweat, and tears now stood before the crowd with a weight on his shoulders that went beyond the physical gold he carried. This wasn't just another promo or another challenge accepted. This was a man facing a truth he had been fighting against for weeks, perhaps even months. The injuries have been mounting. Every single person who follows wrestling knows that Seth Rollins is the kind of performer who leaves everything in that ring. He doesn't hold back, he doesn't take shortcuts, and he certainly doesn't run from a fight. But the human body has limits, and even the most dedicated warriors eventually have to face the reality that continuing to push forward could mean permanent damage. The whispers had been growing louder backstage, the speculation running wild among fans who noticed him favoring certain body parts, the way he moved a little slower after particularly brutal matches, the grimaces that flashed across his face when he thought the cameras weren't watching. When Seth grabbed that microphone and began to speak, you could hear a pin drop. The man who usually commands attention with his intensity and fire now spoke with a different kind of power, the power of someone making an incredibly difficult decision for reasons that went beyond championships and glory. He talked about what it means to be a champion, not just holding a title but representing something bigger than yourself. He spoke about the responsibility he feels toward the fans who support him, the locker room that looks up to him, and the legacy he wants to leave behind in this business. The relinquishment itself felt surreal. Here was a champion who hadn't been defeated, hadn't been pinned, hadn't submitted, yet he was placing that title down and walking away from it. The World Heavyweight Championship that he had fought so hard to win, that he had elevated through incredible matches and feuds, was now vacant. The throne he had occupied was suddenly empty, and the scramble to fill it would begin immediately. Wrestling thrives on these moments of uncertainty, when everything changes in an instant and new possibilities explode into existence. The reaction from the crowd was mixed in the most genuine way possible. There were fans who understood and showed their respect, chanting his name and acknowledging the difficult choice he made. There were others who couldn't hide their disappointment, not because they wanted to see him suffer, but because they knew what this meant for the immediate future of SmackDown. Seth Rollins has been the centerpiece of so many storylines, the anchor that everything else revolves around, and his absence creates a void that won't be easy to fill. Behind the scenes, the implications are enormous. The creative team now faces the challenge of crowning a new champion in a way that feels legitimate and exciting. Do they hold a tournament? Do they create a #1 contender match that brings together the top stars on the roster? The possibilities are endless, and each option comes with its own set of opportunities and risks. What we do know is that several superstars are already positioning themselves to be the next World Heavyweight Champion, and the political maneuvering backstage is likely reaching fever pitch. Think about the competitors who immediately become players in this conversation. There are established main eventers who have been waiting for their moment to reclaim championship glory. There are rising stars who see this as their opportunity to break through that ceiling and establish themselves at the top of the card. There are veterans who might see one more run with a world title as the perfect way to cap off legendary careers. The landscape has shifted completely, and everyone with ambition is recalculating their path to the top. The timing of this relinquishment adds another layer to the story. We're heading into a period where major events are on the horizon, where the company traditionally builds toward its biggest shows and most important storylines. A vacant World Heavyweight Championship creates automatic interest and gives the booking team flexibility they didn't have before. They can create fresh matchups, surprise the audience with unexpected challengers, and potentially elevate someone who wasn't in the title picture just days ago. For Seth Rollins personally, this decision represents both an ending and a beginning. The ending is obvious: he's stepping away from the championship scene and presumably taking time to heal his body and address whatever injuries have been accumulating. But the beginning is what makes this fascinating from a storytelling perspective. When he returns, and make no mistake he will return, what kind of Seth Rollins will we see? Will he be the same architect we've known, or will this period away transform him into something different? Will he come back hungry and angry, looking to reclaim what he had to give up? Or will his priorities have shifted, leading him down a completely different path? The history of wrestling is filled with moments like this, where champions have had to make difficult decisions about their health and their futures. Some return stronger than ever, using their time away to heal not just physically but mentally, coming back with renewed purpose and fire. Others found that stepping away gave them perspective that changed how they approached the business entirely. The unpredictability is part of what makes this so compelling, because we genuinely don't know what happens next. The other superstars on the roster are now in a unique position. Everyone knows that beating Seth Rollins for the title would have been a huge accomplishment, a defining moment in any career. But winning a tournament or a #1 contender match to become the new champion is a different kind of opportunity. It's a chance to establish yourself as the new face of the division, to build your own legacy rather than simply taking the torch from someone else. Some wrestlers will embrace this, seeing it as their moment to truly shine without the shadow of Rollins looming over them. Others might feel like the achievement is somehow lesser because they didn't defeat the previous champion directly. The fan community is already buzzing with theories and predictions. Social media has exploded with discussions about who should be the next champion, what matches we want to see, and how this changes the entire dynamic of SmackDown going forward. Fantasy booking is running wild as fans imagine their dream scenarios, from dark horse candidates shocking the world to established stars finally getting their due. The engagement and excitement, despite the circumstances that led to this moment, demonstrates just how invested people are in these stories and these performers. From a business perspective, this creates both challenges and opportunities for the company. On one hand, losing your champion and one of your biggest stars, even temporarily, is never ideal. Seth Rollins is a proven draw who consistently delivers in big moments. On the other hand, the unpredictability and the fresh matchups that become possible can generate significant interest and potentially create new stars who can carry the company into the future. The next few weeks will be crucial in determining whether they can capitalize on this situation or if it becomes a period where momentum is lost. The emotional weight of watching Seth Rollins relinquish the championship cannot be understated. This is a man who has given everything to professional wrestling, who has main event the biggest shows, who has carried companies on his back during difficult periods, who has reinvented himself multiple times to stay relevant and exciting. Seeing him have to step away from the title scene, not because he was beaten but because his body demanded it, is a sobering reminder of the physical toll this industry takes on its performers. It's a reminder that behind the characters and the storylines are real human beings who sacrifice their bodies for our entertainment. Looking ahead, the speculation about Seth Rollins' return timeline is already beginning. Will he be back in weeks, ready to immediately insert himself into the championship picture? Will it be months, giving others time to establish themselves before he comes back to shake things up? Or could this be a longer absence than anyone expects, with implications that reach far into the future of SmackDown? The uncertainty is both frustrating and exciting, because it means we're in uncharted territory where anything could happen. The legacy of Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship reign will be debated and discussed for years to come. He elevated the title through incredible matches against top-tier competition. He brought prestige and importance to every defense. He made people care about the championship and the stories surrounding it. The fact that he had to relinquish it rather than lose it in some ways protects that legacy, preserving the idea that he was never truly beaten, that his reign ended not because someone was better but because circumstances beyond his control forced his hand. The wrestlers who will compete for the vacant championship now carry a responsibility to honor what Seth Rollins built while also making the title their own. They need to deliver performances that justify their elevation to the top of the card. They need to create moments that fans will remember and talk about. They need to prove that SmackDown can thrive even without Rollins at the center of everything. The pressure is immense, but so is the opportunity to define careers and create legacies. As we move forward from this moment, one thing is certain: the landscape of SmackDown has changed forever. The relinquishment of the World Heavyweight Championship by Seth Rollins is not just a footnote in wrestling history, it's a pivotal moment that will influence storylines, careers, and the direction of the entire brand for months or even years to come. The ripple effects will be felt across the roster as everyone adjusts to this new reality and fights for their place in this transformed hierarchy. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel because the coming weeks are going to be absolutely wild, and you won't want to miss a single development as we watch the story unfold and discover who will rise to claim the World Heavyweight Championship and define the next era of SmackDown.